All right, we can start playing around with some stuff. What kind of tier list is this? So this is, as far as what we have on screen, is the old Lissandra one. That being said, what we're doing is going to be, we're going to be moving this around and just doing a general tier list. This will be different than most of my normal tier lists, because normally for tier lists, I take them very seriously. I take a lot of time to test everything and make sure I'm happy with everything. But I don't really have time to do that since the patch is about to drop. So this tier list, we're all just going to be putting everyone out where we think they're going to be. That being said, this is just a general tier list, so it's not specifically for Aurelion Sol. It's not specifically for monthly challenges or Lissandra. It's just, in general, how does this champion do in all of the content? Also, yeah, we're going to be considering them at level 30, 3 stars. The patch is dropping like normally like 12 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, this is just a copy of the Lissandra one because that's my most up-to-date tier list that has all the icons and everything. So we'll be using this as the basis, but we're going to be shifting all of this around because this is, yeah, not relevant for all content. I try to play Pyke with Wriggle's Lantern. It's pretty fun. You should try it. Yeah, I have so many builds I should try. I just don't have enough time. Alright, so let's just kind of start at the bottom, move our way down, and as we go, we'll probably just shift things up. So for one, Annie. I really like Annie, but I think Annie is more of a A-tier champion. We can stick with what we did with Lissandra, where A tier and B tier are like there's top of A and bottom of A, and vice versa. I would say Annie is A tier. Kata Fan is saying S tier. What are you all thinking? I think top of A. I don't think she's quite at that same level as like Aurelion Sol, Jinx, Nidalee, LeBlanc. I would say top of A. Okay, so most people also agree in A. And yeah, I think she's top of A, but if you think she's like bottom of A or anything else, yeah, A is amazing, S is broken. All right, so we'll put her here for now. Aurelion Sol is, yeah, still in the S tier. I would say Evelynn is another one that would go top of A. She's really good. She can struggle in the fact, like, if you don't draw Evelynn, you're screwed, and you're just, like, you lose, essentially. So I think she is, again, amazing. And while she can be broken, she's just a little bit too inconsistent, in my opinion, to go all the way up in the S. But what are you all thinking? Evelynn, I would say it's probably similar to Annie, top of A, not quite enough for that S tier. But I could be convinced maybe even dropping her to like bottom A. But what are you all thinking? All right, A as well. I love Evelynn, so S++. Yeah, he's like, you always gotta try to like not let your bias overwhelm you. That's the thing with Evelynn, is a bit inconsistent. Like when she goes off, she is unstoppable and amazing. Could you do alphabetical? Probably. One moment. I will look here. Sure, we can switch to alphabetical to make it a little bit more consistent. Carvin, Kevin, Duke, Shinnok. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. Alright, so we did Aurelion Sol. We can, I guess, move over to Aatrox, because that will be next as far as Well, he's technically first for alphabetical, but we'll just do it in the order that the game has it. Hey, Riven, I'm doing all right. It is general usefulness, so monthlies, I mean, yes, monthlies are being considered. I don't know about fairly heavily, but moderately. Alright, Aatrox, I'm kind of fine with Aatrox being top of B. I think he is really good, and that's where B kind of is just really good champions. And yeah, I don't think he's quite A in my opinion, but top of P, B seems like a good place. So we're talking about Aatrox, we're switching over to alphabetical. Does speed count? Yes and no. So the way speed works is for a champion like Morgana, where you might be slow, but you're 100% going to win no matter what the enemy does, speed doesn't matter as much. For some other champions, though, if you're too slow, the enemy might outscale you. So sometimes speed does matter, and it's kind of the issue of, are you going to get outscaled? Are you going to run into problems with the enemy just being able to beat you? So for some people, like, yes, it matters, but for some champions, specifically I'm thinking about Morgana, even though she is slow, I would still put her in S tier just because that's how powerful she is. But for some other champions like Ashe, they're really slow and they're on the weaker side, where that slowness might end up with you losing the game. So like, it is a consideration, but it's not the main consideration. It's not like we're going to be ranking everyone like fastest to slowest. I would consider speed as utility. It's something to consider as a bonus. It's not more important than other factors. Yeah, like it's there, but it's not necessarily going to be the determining factor. It's going to be one of the elements we look at when determining rankings. If the champion is decent to good, does being fast make a champion worth more than others? Well, so if we have two champions that are equal, but one is faster than the other, then yes, they will be better. So all else being equal, speed will help them be higher than other people. Hello, Vexine. Quadruple mana flow mode looked fun, and the Jhin video made me excited about getting him soon. Also, finally have the 3-star. Beat Victor with Neela. Getting Nocturne and Feebling Strike and some drain effects helped me barely scrape by his ear. He's so annoyingly unbalanced, I feel, but I'm new and haven't fought Lissandra or anything. Yeah, those were pretty fun videos to make. That Mord one definitely was crazy, and yeah, all of the mini bosses are often the worst part of every adventure. Speed is considered when it affects their gameplay ending. Yes. They don't have the patch yet for how much to start champions. No, we don't know that yet. So yeah, for Aatrox, I think in general, he's a really solid champion. I think he, at the moment, can struggle in some instances against, like, Azir and Lissandra of being a little bit too slow, because he's slow and then he gets outscaled. So I think he's very good generally, but still not quite good enough to go up in the topper bracket. I mean, we'll go back to arguing about Evelynn. We're trying to go through alphabetically. Yeah, it really is terrible. So yeah, for right now, for Aatrox, I think I'm going to leave him in top of B. No one's convinced me differently yet. I'm going to be pretty pricey, because I'm pretty sure they're saying there's $5 pack that'll give 60 Frags of Champions. Yes, there's going to be a lot of money being spent on Wednesday. Hey, Drappin. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, so Aatrox, we're going to leave him top of B. Next up then is Annie once again that we talked about. I think Annie is good at the top of A. Very excellent champion. Not quite broken like many of the S tier. Yes, Path of Champions tier list. That is correct. We don't really cover PvP. But making a tier list for PvP probably is terrible. It probably sucks. Is this an endgame tier list? Low stars, relic, oh goodness, relic viability considered at all. This is pretty much everyone being at level 30 with 3 stars. So yeah, Annie, the moment leaving her top of A. Next up then we have Ashe. So Ashe is down here in the bottom of B. I feel like I'm fine with her there, but honestly, I would be fine with moving her down to like C tier. That being said, I'm pretty biased against Ashe. I don't really like her playstyle. I think she's slow. I think she's worse than like every other control deck. So like, I'm pretty fine with where she is, but I could also be definitely convinced to dropping her. Yeah, I'd say C. So yeah, I'm leaning C right now. Everyone, go ahead and put in the chat if you think she should be C or B tier. Like, I'm kind of leaning for putting her down here. Also, once we arrange everyone, we'll go ahead and look at how we think the tier list is shaping up and reorient. But she worse than Vex? No. Vex is probably going to be stuck in the D tier. I mean, Vex is barely a control deck, really, sadly. No, I would not say she's worse than Vex. I don't mind putting her in D so that Riot will buff her. She's great against Aurelia, which brings her up a lot for me. Yeah, she's definitely not worse than Vex. I mean, like, she's okay against Aurelia, but that's not just because one fight doesn't really make the champion worthwhile or like bump them up too much. So I think we'll put her down in C for now. We'll try to move this over so we kind of know who we've done. Just want to say hi and let you know I've made progress. Hope the list goes well. I'll not understand most of it and will be lurking while playing. Well, thanks for hanging out. Alright, so Ashe over here, C tier at the moment. Next up then we have Bard. So Bard here, bottom of B tier. Shin. Sure. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Vex has her moments. She's the definition of mid for me. Yeah. I think Vex with the build I have her is pretty good. It's fine if I can send you a few screenshots of effect. Sure, if you want. I mean, I've already found some decent builds for Vex that make her like playable. Luke48, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate the support. Leonis16. This is a kind of general tier list for Path of Champions. We're trying to rate everyone before the new patch comes out, just so that we have something to compare it to, because we haven't made kind of one of these general tier lists for a little while. B for Bard, low B, high C. That's what I'm feeling as well. I feel like he's pretty good in this range. Hey, Leonis16, thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate that support. I'd say upper B feels like he'll move up in the constellations, starting with 3, so it's time to start triggering right away and open up relic slots. Yeah, but we're not going to consider constellations now because we'll do a tier list after Constellations. We're not going to say like, oh, we'll move this champion up because they're probably good in Constellations. I feel like, especially since we're considering these people at level 30, Bard is pretty good right now. The addition of epic relics and whatnot makes him a very strong champion. I think, well, not very strong, but a lot stronger than he used to be. So I think I'm fine at the moment with Bard getting low B. Yeah, this is only considering what we have in the patch now. So like, this is going to radically change when the next patch comes out, but that's why we're doing this now before everything changes. Because yeah, everything will be different, but we don't know how exactly. Toast, you can try to guess the 20 champs from Twitter. I've already looked at it. I'm pretty sure I know who they all are. We'll maybe do that after the tier list. I have that pulled up though, yes. Bard with his 7 copies and starting mana from Starforge is way stronger. Yes, I agree. Alright, so you're thinking high B. Should we drop Kindred since this isn't just Lysandra? Maybe A? Yes, we will be getting there. We're just going in alphabetical order at the moment. So a lot of the other places' rankings will change. So don't worry about that. Hey, Jump. Have fun cycling. Don't crash. Alright, so I think we'll leave Bard here for the moment. Could be convinced to put him in higher B, but I think for right now we'll leave him right here. You're fine, Rhett. Yes, that's what we're trying to do alphabetical right now. Alright, Darius. Darius is down in the D tier. That's definitely not the case. I would say for general gameplay, Darius is probably high B, because for most content in the game, he can just blast through it and just absolutely annihilate it. Like, yes, he sucks into Lysandra, but like for monthly challenges, there's a lot of challenges he's very good for. For pretty much all other content in the game, he's very, very solid. So I think he would be high B. Most people are saying low B. Hey, Narvel. Alright, so most of you wanted me to put... Well, there is no mid B. There's really just high and low. What relics do you put on him to make him work? So with Darius, you can put him... You can go for full rerolls. Just reroll relics, and that's actually surprisingly solid, because if he gets the right support champ, if he gets the right powers, he just dominates. So full reroll build is good. I also like going for cost reduction plus Crown Guard. So you get like Scourge's Stash on him, Crown Guard Inheritance, and then Packed Powder, or just double Scourge's Stash. So you can attack with all your units, get a bunch of damage down, and then get that Plunder off, so you can then drop your Darius. He levels up, rallies, you attack again. If you don't end the game, you're probably going to trigger his second star power, so you can then attack again. So it's... Yeah, there's a couple different ways you can go. Everyone's saying mid B. B means good, Darius is just good. Yes. Yeah, this is just a tier list for how they are in like all the content in the game. Alright, so I'll leave Darius over here, because I think we all at least agree that he's pretty much a B tier champion. Like, he's really good, not overpowered, not weak. So I'll just leave him here for now. We'll probably adjust him and put him in top or bottom based on how the tier list is shaping up. But yeah, he's in B tier. So next up then, we have Diana. Where is Diana? Here in A tier. I think we all can agree that in pretty much all the content in the game, pretty much, she is a S tier champion. Yeah, like not a lot we need to discuss. It's Diana. We all know she's very, very strong, so we'll pretty much move on. Don't need to spend much time there. Echo is up next. Echo's good. I would kind of feel like putting Echo in the bottom of B. Like putting Echo down here. Because I think he's good. I don't know if he's quite good enough for top B. A with good build or B. I'll say A, but I'm very biased. He's good, but not outstanding. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel with him. I feel like he's another one that's in this B category of just he's good, not great. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that are either biased against him or towards him. I don't think Echo's actually that good with Oath. I think there's a lot of other champions that are better with Oath, to be honest. I feel like, yeah, you have the extra draw, but I'd rather get my champion on the board round 1, get Oath triggered, and then get the other champion on the board. Alright, so yeah, we'll put him in B here. This is... Some people want him all the way up in A. I think this is pretty solid. Yeah, Darius is B. I'm leaning towards the top of B. Some people are leaning more towards the bottom. We'll probably place him later when we have a little bit more rankings to kind of judge him against. But he's a good champion, not great. Alright, but Echo we'll put there in B and just move on. So we have Elder Dragon. I would say Elder Dragon top of A, or not top of, but like high A. Not necessarily the best, but I feel like he's good. Or should we leave him at low A? Yeah, I feel like he is an A tier champion, but I could see him being more bottom of A. I could see Oath working with extra cost reduction on the 2-star if he levels the extra attacks risk-free with a board full of champ. Sounds good. Is this still the Lissandra only tier list? No. This is tier list for all the content in the game. I feel like the nerf kind of got him a little weak. That's true. They did recently nerf him, and so a lot of his units, they all lost like 1 extra health. I'd say low A if you can't ramp up bigger units. It feels rough. Yeah, I'd actually be fine with kind of actually leaving Elder Dragon in low A. Oh, don't... Kindred is not S tier. Don't make judgments on the tier list yet. That was specifically Kindred in Lissandra. We're still at the beginning of the tier list, so a lot of these people are ranked where they were for Lissandra. So don't look at this and be like, these are the final rankings. That's... Yeah, don't rank off these yet. He's pretty useless in monthlies outside of 1 or 2 challenges he excels at. I wouldn't say useless, like, there are a couple challenges where he is the best possible champion, and then I feel like he's still a solid champion for all, like, general modifiers. I think he's not bad in monthlies. I think low A is pretty solid for Elder Dragon. Still a great champion, but not as strong as, like, the top A and S tier. So we got Elder Dragon. So let's move on. We have Elise. I feel like Elise probably top of A, or, well, I mean, the build I've been showcasing, she does just one-shot everything. So yeah, a lot of people are saying S. with the addition of the new relic, the Dreams of Yordles, I think Elise might actually be up in the S tier. I guess we just slide her in right there. She is really good. That new relic gives her a solid amount of power. Yeah, I think I'm fine. Since this is general content, like, Elise is really good in the monthlies, really good in challenges. Although, I will say, we have to remember, Elise does suck if you don't draw her. So do we need to put her in top A just because of the inconsistency? Because if you don't drop Elise, you are screwed. The build that I was doing last time is Gale Force, Dreams of Yordles, and the Spirit of the Buru. So your one costs get like Overwhelm, Fury, and Quick Attack. So I'm just consider the fact that Elise can be fragile, and if you don't draw her, and you have to draw her round 1, if you don't draw her, you're pretty screwed. So with that considered, I would say go ahead and post again if you think she should be in top of A or S tier. Well, Long is just biased towards S. Okay, most people are saying top of A. So I think we'll actually put her there. Because, yeah, she is really good. But if you don't draw her, you just lose. Like, you have to have her round 1, which is her biggest weakness. Outside of that, though, she's amazing. As long as you have her on the board round 1, fantastic. If they ever add something to the game where you can guarantee your champion draw, like if you can make sure your unit has Farsight, then she'd be up in the S tier. But I think we'll put her in the very top of A just for that inconsistency, which is a little sad. All right, now we have Evelyn. Evelyn, kind of in the same boat of Elise, of incredibly strong, very broken, but if you don't draw her, you don't get that scaling power, and you normally will lose the game. I'm sorry, Long. I know you're very biased towards Elise. Yeah, it would be nice if they changed the Hero's Horn to draw your champion instead of a champion. Yeah, Evelyn is the exact same issue as Elise. Like, it's true that the one benefit is Elise, you need to have her round 1. Evelyn, you have like 1 to 2 rounds to draw her. But I still think it's pretty much the same with Evelyn, of like, very broken. If you don't draw them, you lose. Yeah, with Eve, even if you draw Eve, if they kill your husks and you can't level, you're having a hard time. So I think we'll leave Eve in the top of A, pretty much the same boat that Evelyn is in. So I would say, yeah, top of A tier. All right, so next then we have Garen. So Garen, definitely not the bottom of C. I would say Garen is either high B tier. He's like very similar to Aatrox and Darius, but he could actually be the bottom of A, but top of B or bottom of A. Yeah, Evelyn has insane scaling as long as it works. Alright, most people are saying B. We have like 1A. Darius and Garen are kind of better at different things. Like, Darius can absolutely annihilate and rush through some encounters, but Garen's a little bit more consistent. You have better scaling, you have better removal. Garen is so slow, you need to keep his units alive. B again, good but not outstanding. Yeah, you can summon Garen and get immediate level up and rally. Top of B. Hello, Zesties. Alright, let's try to look through here and see. There's so many conflicting. I think we'll place him in the top of B for now. And part of that is because I think A tier is going to get stacked. And so I think if this was a little bit like a couple months ago, then Garen would probably be the low A tier. But I think there's other champions in there that are better than him. So we'll put him in top of B for now. But depending on how our A tier goes, we might put him in the bottom of A tier. Why not go straight for Nasus? Garen has inherent ramp and can level himself while removing 2 targets, making himself huge. Also, his units are better than Darius. Yeah, Garen is pretty solid. You have good scaling. You have built-in removal. We might end up putting him in the bottom of A. But I think top of B is decent for now. Alright, so next up we have Gnar. Gnar is bottom of B. I think after the changes, I think Gnar still deserves bottom of B. Most people are also saying B. Yeah, I think they gave him some quality of life. They changed his starting deck a little bit. They changed his star powers slightly. And so I think bottom of B is pretty solid for him. I think he's a good champion. And that's kind of where it is. Just, it's good. I don't think he deserves C or D tier. I think Gnar is better than Ashe. I think Gnar is a good amount better than Ashe. Yes, I'm very excited. I think Gnar is going to be another one that, while I think bottom of B is pretty suited to him, if our B tier gets too stacked, he might just get power crept and go down to C. Because like they've done pretty well with balancing a lot of champions, where a lot of the champions that were terrible are now a lot higher. Yeah, like a lot of people hate Ashe, and a lot of people hate Gnar too. Epics don't benefit Ashe like they do Gnar. That is true. Gnar can benefit from epics and actually be pretty solid. Ashe doesn't really want to use any. Like, at most, you want to use Beast Within. I hate both, actually. Yeah, Freljord does struggle. Alright, I'll leave Gnar over here in the bottom of B, and he's probably one that there's a decent chance we're gonna adjust him based on how the tier list shakes out. So he might end up having to go to C just if the B tier has, like, if everyone else in B tier is just better than him, then yeah, we might move him down. Ashe is the weakest Freljord. Pretty much. I mean, Gnar, I'll definitely say Gnar isn't great early. Gnar's rough early, so I would normally say Ashe is better early. If you max out Gnar, he's better. I actually like Ornn now. I would say I would prefer playing Ornn over Ashe. Like, Ornn used to be the worst, definitely. But these days, I'm pretty happy with him. He still has some issues, but he is a lot better. So we just talked about Gnar. We have Gwen. I feel like Gwen is probably... Do we want Gwen in the A tier or S tier? Because I feel like she used to be an S tier champion, but I feel like she's weaker than most of the other S tiers. Okay, most people are saying S. Low S. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think we will drop Gwen over here. And kind of similar to some of the other champions, we'll put her in S tier for now, but she used to definitely be an S tier champion. I feel like she's been power crept, and so a lot of the other S tier have just outpaced her. So she might be like a top A tier champion, but we'll put her in S for now. But yeah, she might get moved down. We have Illaoi. I think Illaoi is just A tier. I would probably put her top of A, but I could be convinced to put her like bottom of A. We're at the stretch of champions I don't have. I still think she's S because she doesn't require epic relics to kill Lissandra. True. B for Illaoi, really? Yes, this is about Path of Champions. A. Most people saying A. Bottom of A. See ya, Kata fan. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so most people are saying more of like bottom of A. So I'll move her down here because, yeah, I think she's definitely A tier, but where in the A tier I'm definitely more flexible on. You definitely see bottom of A. Okay. Pretty much everyone thinks bottom of A, and I'm fine with that. Because she's pretty much... She's very similar to Gwen, except she doesn't have the sustain. Congrats on killing Galio. This tier list is for Lissandra or General. This is General. We're going off of the Lissandra tier list, so that's why some of these people are ranked the way they are before we've moved them around. So that's what we're going off of, but this is, yeah, for just General in the game overall. Yeah, don't judge some of the rankings because some of them are just from Lissandra, and that really heavily swings some champions. B is a good champ, and I think that's where she fits. Most A's are stronger. Illaoi is the definition of A-tier champion. Good, solid, but not insanely broken. B is solid, A is amazing. See, I think Illaoi is so good. She is, like, amazing. Like, you just attack and end the game with her. She's so consistent, and you rarely struggle with your tentacle ever getting countered. Like, she consistently ends games just like your very first attack. She's not requiring epic relics. She's very flexible. If you take a look at her deck, she is one of the best made decks in the game. Like, it's very, very solid. It gives you draw, it gives you removal, gives you more ways for your tentacles. Yeah, Lulu can counter her pretty hard, but just getting countered by like one random boss doesn't really matter. She's not good enough for top of A. She's not insane, but she's very, very good. Well, it's like, yeah, I think we'll put her in the bottom, the mid A. We'll put her here for now. Yeah, Morgana is countered by Ezreal, but still S. Yeah. So Illaoi's there. Now we have Jack. Jack is down in the C tier. Jack's kind of a tough one. He's sometimes really good, and other time he really struggles. Man, there's a lot of... Some people are saying A, B, C. I feel like Jack might be in the C tier, might go up to B. I don't think I'd put him in A at all. I think all the A tier champions would very much outshine him. Jack is a solid B, low B until we have burst coins. Yeah, I think we'll put him in low B for right now. Yeah, he can be solid on the monthlies. There are a good amount of mutators that work well for him. Yeah, I think B tier, low B tier is okay. He is pretty reliant on that 3-star, but that's, yeah, fine. So yeah, we'll put him in low B. I think that seems decent for the time being. Next up, we have Janna, and Janna is one that, especially if you have epic relics, I really like her, and I think my personal bias would be putting Janna in like the low A, but I think that's my personal bias. I think high B is actually pretty good for her. Janna with good relics is low A. Low B, stay in high B. Yeah, Janna's a tough one, pretty divisive. She's similar to Gnar in that she is pretty weak early, but once you get her up there, once you get her leveled up, if you get some epic relics on her, I think she's very good. I have 1 star. Really good with cost reduction monthly challenges. A tier, monthly challenges go burr. Maxed out Janna feels amazing. Yes, maxed out Janna does feel really good. I will say Janna, I've played her into Lissandra and won every time, and I've done it like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, so only comment if you've actually played like kind of a maxed out Janna, but are you guys thinking low A tier or high B tier? If you have a low level Janna, I know that you're going to think she's bad, and I understand that. She definitely is painful at low levels, but this is not a low level tier list. Like, yeah, found fortune on her. Once you've played a maxed out Janna, it's kind of like a whole other champion. She feels so good. If the tier list is max and low A, you still think B. Janna makes me cry at 1 star. Yeah, I get that. All right, Janna's another one. Let's put her to the side here. I think we'll put her in low A for now. But again, once we get kind of towards the end of the tier list, we see the other people that are ranked up against her might go ahead and drop her into the low B. But for right now, we'll leave her in the bottom of A. Today, I had a Janna run that made my whole deck 0 mana. She's crazy. Yeah. Low A, though I don't recall losing with her, so I could say high A. So this is a general tier list, but we're going off of our Lissandra one. So we haven't adjusted Kindred yet. Kindred is S tier because of Lissandra. So once we get to Kindred, they'll be moved around, but that hasn't happened yet. But that's why they're currently S tier. We just haven't gotten to them to move them yet. Assuming you got epics, I'd say low A, so many of them cost reduction. Yes. I feel like she scales very well with especially epic relics. I have her in the 20s. 3-star is max that much better. Max is better, and then epic relics make her amazing. She scales very well with epics, which is why she feels so good. Like, once you can play a 0-cost Janna that pulls out another 0-cost with an epic item, and then you start snowballing that cost reduction into just like even more cost reduction, it gets pretty nutty. So yeah, we'll leave her in bottom of A for now. We will kind of adjust her based on how the rest of the tier list is shaping up. So Janna, next we have Jax, and I feel like Jax either S tier or top of A. He does slightly have the same issues as Elise. Now, his deck isn't quite as reliant on him. Jack's deck does a better job without Jax than Elise does without Elise. But it's still very champ reliant. Under Elise, not S, he's worse than Elise. Okay, I could definitely say Jax is top of A, because I know he used to be an S tier champion, but I think he has been power crept a little bit. I would say his deck is stronger than Elise. S before Gale Force nerf? Yeah, that's true. Jax is trash if you don't draw him turn 1. I think he's better than Elise if you don't draw him, but still, yes, he is similar to Elise where he's a 2-cost champion. You need to be drawing him turn 1. I can be fine with putting him in the top of A. I think that's okay. But Elise didn't care about her deck. I mean, Elise doesn't care about her deck, but if you don't draw Elise, then you're stuck with that deck, and that's where you have the problem. His units scale while attacking? Yes. Low S on Jax for me. Low A. I mean, I'm not going to put him in low A. Oh, you mean low S. Okay. Top of A. Okay, then we'll have him top of A right now. I think the S tier is going to get a little crowded because a lot of the new champions we got probably going to go up there. So we'll put him in top of A for now, because again, since Elise is top of A, I feel like it's a little bit better to put Jax there, just because they're probably pretty similar in terms of power and same issues. Beast Within Weapon Masters and his power put him ahead for me. Barrier Hook Master is better than Elise's whole deck. Yeah, Jax has really good epic relics, so does Elise though. But yeah, the fact that you can help your entire deck and not just like your Spiderlings is very good. Yeah, his star powers are bad if you're losing. But yeah, we'll put him in the top of A for now. Next up we have Jhin. I feel like Jhin is another one that he's good. I don't quite think I think he's like similar to Annie. I think Jhin and Annie are on the same level, and I would say they're both top of A. He's slow, a little bit, but with your control, it doesn't, like, you have enough to control the game, so even if you are a little bit slower, it's not that bad. I would say not. Most of the S tier is like absolutely broken, and I don't feel like Jhin is broken. I think he's very good, very strong, and I feel like he's pretty much very close to Annie as far as strength, but I don't think Annie's quite S tier either. So I think top of A is a pretty good place for Jhin, and yeah, most people are in agreement with that one. All right, so next up then we have Jinx. So Jinx, pretty easy. We'll just throw Jinx up in the S tier. I think Gwen needs to be bumped down. Yes, that's why she's kind of at the very end. We might bump down Gwen to A tier. That's very possible. It's not a guaranteed board wipe. I've literally had it where there's been like 3 units on the board, and one of the units doesn't get hit at all by the cannon barrages. Jhin is very good, but yeah, he's not as overpowered as many of the other ones. Jinx's only problem is Lissandra, but she's broken. Yeah, Jinx up in the S tier. Broken champion. So moving on then, we have Kai'Sa. I feel like Kai'Sa should be down in the D tier. I feel like Kai'Sa is right now one of the worst champions in the game. Tutorial girl, they made her power OP. Yeah. Oh, most people are saying C. So most of you think Kai'Sa should be in the C tier, not D? All right. Kai'Sa's just boring, but okay. Okay, most people didn't like her being placed in the D tier. The thing is, like, I think Kai'Sa's worse than Miss Fortune. Definitely Tahm Kench. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, Vex is going to be in the D tier, sadly. All right, we'll leave Kai'Sa in the C tier for now. Moving on, then we have Kayn, and I think Kayn is a very solid B tier champion. I think he's good. He's not great. He is very reliant on getting kills. If you don't get kills, you don't scale, and that can be a problem for you. He's a very feast or famine deck, where once you start getting kills, you can snowball and be amazing, but if you can't get him rolling, that's really bad. So I think Kayn is solid B tier. Okay, most of the people are also saying B, good. Yeah, we're not considering constellations because we don't have constellations. Strength of Stone tier. I mean, yeah, I need to get that relic. All right, Kayn, simple B. We have Kindred up next now. I feel like Kindred is another B tier champion. A or S? Oof. Yeah, not S. I could say A. We haven't really considered constellations. I don't want to theory craft and then get excited, so I'm just like waiting. Low A, high B. Needs draw of champions, so A. Interesting. Kindred's one that's pretty controversial. Good monthly utility. A lot of control. Okay, then I think we'll put her in the low A along with like Janna as like very solid champions and kind of see how the other tier list shapes out. But I'm fine with low A. Yeah, there are a lot of different ways you can play Kindred. You can kind of do a lot of the same things Lilia can do with your like abusing summon mechanics. And they are pretty versatile where you can play them in a lot of different types of build in different situation. You can go high removal, high control. So yeah, I'm fine with low A Kindred. I'm fine with that. Next up then we have LeBlanc, which I mean S, obviously she's busted. I don't think anyone's really going to disagree with that unless they're trolling like Narvel. So yeah, we'll have LeBlanc in the S tier. Ridiculously good champion, very versatile, not build dependent. Like you can play pretty much whatever you want on her and succeed. But if you go for more of like a meta build, she can just destroy everything. She's, yeah, Amazing. Anyone that's played her, once you get her to 2 stars, she just destroys. All right, Lee Sin's up next. I am a Lee Sin hater. I would put Lee Sin in the D tier. I think he is one of the worst champions. I do not like him. Okay, so most people are agreeing that, yeah, like, I'm not saying you can't play him ever. I'm not saying he's an unplayable champion. There's definitely stuff he can do well. And honestly, I play him a lot in the monthlies just because I try to use up all my worst champions. Yeah, I think we will leave him in D tier for now. Let's see. All right, Leona is up next. Leona right now is in bottom of A, and to be honest, I'm fine with keeping Leona in bottom of A, but I could be convinced to maybe put her in low B, but I think low A is pretty good for Leona. A couple people are saying B, low A. Yeah, a lot of people either saying solid B or low A. See, for me, Leona's kind of on the same level as, like, kind of the Janna and Kindred, so I feel like having them on low A feels pretty solid to me. Yeah, Leona is good, especially once you have them leveled up. Like, you have some of the best scaling in the entire game, and also very strong control. Well, we are considering them having epics. So yeah, like B without epics, but then you can use epics on her. I never have oath, so I don't know how strong she was pre-nerf. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Leona as the B barrier. I could kind of see that. Yeah, she is in a good place, and yeah, you do need to draw your Ravoon. With epic, she's busted. Yeah, I think having her low A is pretty solid. Because honestly, also look, our B tier, like, yes, some of these are going to move around potentially, but our B tier is pretty full. Yeah, most people don't really like Ashe, and this isn't a Lissandra only tier list. She was up in the B tier for only against Lissandra. This is like general content. Is there another way to get epics than golden reliquaries? You can get one from Aurelion Sol. You can get full send there, and then all the rest are golden reliquaries, but there's different ways to get them. So you get some from your legend levels, you get one from Lissandra, and you get them from the Emporium. Man, I am stressed. All right, so I think we'll leave Leona in bottom of A for the time being. So next then we have Lilia, and I think I'm fine with leaving Lilia in the S tier. I think she's pretty nuts, and there's a lot of crazy things you can do there. Viego's not in the game yet, so he's not in the tier list. We're only considering what is in the game. So constellations, all of that, like, we're not doing anything. All right, pretty much everyone is fine with Lilia and S. I'm not seeing any complaints there, so I'm just going to move on. So we have low level, or first Lux. I think Lux is fine to be the top of B tier. I think she used to be A tier, but I think she's been power crept by other people getting stronger. And so at this point, I think she's more of like a top B tier champion. All right, some other people saying top of B, some saying low A. This is the first Lux. There, so this icon right here. I disagree with S Lilia, but I too like her to not agree. Still A for me. B, top of B sounds good. Low A, solid B. Lux, top B. Okay, so most people are agreeing that the top of B. I understand if you really, really like Lux, putting her higher, but I think top of B is pretty good. And yes, Lilia is very good. So yeah, we'll put her here. So next up then, we have the other Lux, and this Lux, I mean, top of A, I could see this Lux being like an kind of an S tier. This Lux is amazing. Most people are saying high A, some are saying S. It is a bit dependent on drawing her, that is true. I think Lilia is stronger than Lux. S if you draw Luminous Sprite. She's like old Lux plus Garen, yeah. Okay, so let's put it this way. Who do you think deserves S more? Lux Illuminated or Gwen? Not Lilia, Gwen. Lux or Gwen? Who do you think is better in the S tier? Alright, so I'm seeing more Lux than Gwen. Gwen, safer option, but Lux can get insane. I mean, Gwen has kind of the same issue as Lux with... They both need to draw their champion. Now, Lux need to draw a little bit earlier. Yeah, Lux Illuminated, you have some really good cards in there, such as your Lumino Sprite, which is better. Yeah, this is all going to dramatically change on Wednesday. I think we'll put Lux Illuminated at the end of S tier for now. We might put Gwen back up there. Well, let's... Yeah, we'll move some of these over. We'll see. We'll go for that for now, but honestly, some of these might go to the top of A. We will see. Hey, just did a Vex run on Lysandra, running the bill I sent you, completely one-shot everything. The moment is someone on attack turn. Awesome, nice. Master Yi. I think Master Yi needs to go up in the S tier. I think Master Yi with Epic Relics is ridiculous, and you one-shot almost everything. So let's put him up here. No, patch is not tomorrow. Patch is Wednesday. Yeah, we have 2 days till patch. So Master Yi, the build I'm thinking of is Secret Technique, so all your buffs from spells are doubled. And then I think it was Chosen by the Stars and Lost Chapter. No, not Chosen by the Stars. Echoing Spirit. Echoing Spirit, so your champion spells cost 1 less. You have more of your champion. It pretty much guarantees you draw your Master Yi, and you just can go almost infinite immediately. Also, yes, he can use Oath. Like, Master Yi maxed out is ridiculously strong. He's not quite to the point of like Scissors Nidalee, but he's not that far behind. Low A, he's Relic Reliant. With the power creep, I think we need more strict on S tier. Possible. All right, so Master Yi, what are you guys thinking? So I'm thinking S, but I'm seeing a lot of A. Is this for all content or just Lysandra? This is for everything. Yeah, he's like better than Gwen and Lux. That's if we have him in A tier, I think Gwen and Gwen and Lux need to drop down to A tier as well. I think we will place him here. I do think he probably deserves that S tier, especially because we're pretty much considering everyone maxed out. So they're having their epic relics, they're having their level 30 with 3 stars. So him with his epic relic builds is pretty nutty. Now this is a general tier list hex. We haven't ranked Volibear yet. So don't... This is not finalized at all. Half the champions aren't actually ranked. But I think we'll have Master Yi there for now. Remember, when we finish the tier list, we're going to go back and kind of reassess everything once everyone's kind of going off each other. Next up, we have Miss Fortune, and I think Miss Fortune with epic relics is probably really good. But yeah, a lot of people are saying C. You're welcome, Hex. So the issue is, I know a lot of you would say that she's really bad, but I know with the triple epic relic, she's actually pretty good. I'll actually maybe show you here. So with this build specifically, you have Spectral Scissors, Beast Within, and Death's Foil. This way, your Miss Fortune starts with 6 power. She doesn't die when attacking. When you attack with your Spectral Scissors, you can always get your Powder Monkey. And with that Overwhelm, you do a ton of damage. And so it's like... It's a little tough, because I definitely understand how Miss Fortune generally is pretty rough. But we're trying to consider everyone with their relics. So I think with especially that build, she's at least the bottom. Let's put him over here. I think she's at least bottom of B tier. C isn't bad, but I can see B though. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I get that with specifically this build and having triple epic relics, like, that's a lot. That being said, I've dumped triple epic relics into, like, I think Vi and Nasus, and they're still down here, because, like, Miss Fortune is not unique. Most of the like worst champions I've actually tried to throw more epic relics at to try to boost them up, and it hasn't really worked. I think Miss Fortune with this build is still at least bottom of B, but I definitely understand a lot of people that have very negative reactions to her. If 4 stars crush, then you have Ludens for more damage. True. It's tough because it's just not maxing her stars and levels. It's also having specific relics. No, I don't have every relic. There's 2 left that I don't have. So MF just Prince Monkey? Yes. I actually think she's better than Gnar, so B is good. Yeah, I think that her and Gnar are pretty close in power, especially once you have them maxed out with epics. Yeah, I think she's pretty close to Gnar. So we'll put her in the bottom of B with Gnar. So let's see, where are we then? Okay, Mordekaiser. I really like Mordekaiser. I still think he's probably like a B tier champion. So Mordekaiser, very fun, but yeah, I would say B. Like I love Mordekaiser, but he just kind of struggles. Say low A, interesting. Man, Mordekaiser has some very varied rankings. He dies from Overwhelm. Yeah, he gets really countered by Overwhelm hard. He's solid fun, not crazy. High B, he's so slow to get to. Don't use your run for 6 starting man. I mean, I'm the person saying bottom of B, so I am definitely not using that run. See, so the issue with Mordekaiser is he's very, very good and hard counters some situations, but against some other situations, like anyone that has Overwhelm, you get hard countered, and so he's just like rough. He's top C, bottom B. Honestly, that we don't have a lot in our B and C tier, and we need to start utilizing these. I think Mordekaiser might actually be like the top of C tier. Maybe. You know what's sad? That Mord is the first person I 3-starts and I don't know what I was doing. I mean, he's a lot of fun, so I don't really blame you. He's a great champion, like a very fun champion. I'm too biased to judge Mord. Yeah, I think we'll leave him in the bottom of B for now. However, when we get everything together, we're gonna probably need to move the rankings around because we're not really utilizing our C tier like at all yet, and so we might just need to knock some champions down just because even though they're like good, they're just worse in relation to other champions. So we'll leave him there for now, but yeah, he's kind of a prime candidate to go to the top of C tier, which is a little sad because yeah, our B tier is right now a little overcrowded. Let's see, Morgana's up next. Morgana, very simple, like just S tier champion. She is like the best control deck in the game. She also has lifesteal. I mean, yes, she's slow, but she's just ridiculously strong. She wins everything. Like, there's very, very little you can't win with her, and it's essentially just it that stares in Lysandra, and you can still beat that because I have. It's just a real pain. But yeah, she's ridiculously strong, so she's going up in the S tier. So moving on then. Oh, hit the wrong button. There we go. So we have Nami. Nami's really good. Where's Nami? Here we go. I would say she's at minimum top of A tier. She could even be S tier with the right build. you can consistently end games in the first round or second round. But a lot of people are saying A. I'm fine with leaving her in A tier. You make me want Morgana so much, but I keep getting sidetracked. I definitely got LeBlanc and Kindred because of you. All very fun. Yeah, Morgana's very good. Definitely very slow, so be aware of that. But if you like controlling the board, she's amazing. Morgana's biggest weakness is being slow and risk the human being losing focus. Yeah. Top of A, since she's not 2 cost. Okay, I'm fine with leaving Nami at top of A tier. She's very good. I'm satisfied with top of A. I think that's solid. I definitely understand the argument to put her higher, but I think top of A is okay. Next up then we have Nasus, and sadly, while Nasus is improved and he is better from where he was a few months ago, still D tier, sadly. Yeah, that's... Yeah, he's just still down there, which sucks. Anyways, so let's just move on then. We have Neeko. Where do we have Neeko? I would say Neeko's probably... I'd say definitely A tier. I'd probably say low A tier. High A, S. Interesting. Low A. High B. I think Neeko is another one that a lot of people get very... Well, she's a very divisive champion where I feel like a lot of people love her and a lot of people hate her. With Guardian Orb, Echoing Spirit, she's S. Yeah, that's... Man, I don't think I'd want to put her all the way in the S tier, but I could see top or high A. Neeko is the most useful champ for monthlies. Multiple top tier counter builds. Really, I haven't used her that much in monthlies. Granted, I don't get to choose who I use anymore, but I haven't really used her in monthlies very much. I think let's move Neeko up to be at least top of, or yeah, the top tier of A. I use her for OTK like Annie on monthlies. Dreadway Neeko, turn 1 kills, repetition every time. Cool. Neeko is Neeko the whole time. That thing keeps haunting me 2 days after you play her. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll put Neeko up in the top of A. There's a lot of good builds you can do for her. So next up then we have Nidalee up here. Also, very obvious, like, S tier champion, incredibly strong. Nidalee with the Spectral Scissors build is like pretty much the most broken thing in the game right now. She's like turn 1 can instantly put out more damage than like anyone else. So yeah, S tier. I don't think anyone's really going to argue that. Nilah. I'm not a huge fan of Nilah. She can be good with Oath of the Guardians, but even then I've tried it with Oath of the Guardians, and the gimmick of getting 2 of the champions on the board is so inconsistent. Like, I'm fine with bottom of B. Some people even saying C, and I could be convinced. Yeah, right now Nidalee with Scissors is pretty much better than anything else in the game. Okay, a lot of people are saying C, and we haven't really utilized the C tier enough. I'm kind of fine for putting her in C tier at the moment. Nilah is A if you know what you're doing. I ran her against the hardest monthlies, but B tier due to high skill curve. I mean, also, she can be inconsistent, which is kind of a big issue. Yeah, I feel like C is too cruel. We need to at least have her in B. I don't really like her that much, so I like kind of want to put her in C, but I know she's better than C. She's at least B tier. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, we'll put her in the bottom of B for now. Next up then we have Nora. I think Nora's an S tier champion. It's pretty ridiculous what you can do. There's some pretty crazy builds. You just put absolutely massive pressure on the enemy. You're one of the most aggressive champions in the entire game. You put so much pressure on... Yeah, everyone else is agreeing with S. So yeah, well... You should try her, Lag. She is very fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, we'll just move on. We have her in the S tier. Next up, we have Ornn. Now... I'm fine with Ornn being bottom of B. I think he is very good and a lot of fun now. I think B is actually pretty solid for him instead of being down like the D tier where he used to be. She doesn't depend on her relic at all. Like, for my go-to build for her, I don't even use her epic relic. Yeah, pretty much everyone's agreeing solid B tier for Ornn. I definitely agree with that as well. The recent changes helped him a lot. His second star power is still scuffed, still bad, but overall still a vast improvement over where he used to be. Welcome back, Jump. So yes, I'll leave Ornn in B. Goodness, you've been cycling for a while. Let's see. We have Pyke up next. I feel like Pyke is another one that is a solid low B champion. A lot of people are saying C. One moment. I'll show you the build that I'm thinking with my Pyke and why I think he's higher, but why I understand putting him lower, or why like a lot of you were saying lower. Let's see here. So this is normally my go-to for Pyke. You have double plunder, so he goes down way in cost. You give all of your units Beast Within and 1/1 because your whole deck is lurkers, so they all have Overwhelm. So this is really helpful. It makes your deck, not just your Pyke, way better. This also gives you good scaling. You're normally trying to attack every single round to get this off, to get the damage off. So for me, with this build specifically, that is why Pyke is higher than probably a lot of you are considering. Drakor Card Games, thank you for the resubscribe. I appreciate the support. Yeah, specifically with that build, I think he's a B tier champion. We're trying to consider epic relics, so that's kind of why I'm leaning towards B tier. It's the same thing with Misfortune. Like, with her specific build, I think B tier is good. Otherwise, I totally understand everyone rating them down in like the C tier. Why don't you get Scourge's stash from someone's campaign? Yes, I think you get one of them from someone's campaign, but I can't remember who exactly. So yeah, I think we'll put Pyke in the bottom of B tier. I think that's kind of probably as high as we can go, but he can be very good with specific builds. If you don't have those builds, I definitely understand having him be ranked lower. So next up then, who are we at? Samira. Yeah, I feel like Samira needs to be high A. Where do we have her? Here. We'll move those out of the way. We'll rank those later. I feel like she could be S tier, except she's just been... Like, there's already too many strong people in the S tier. Also, she's been nerfed a ton, so while she used to probably be S tier, she's probably not anymore. I think high A is probably pretty good. Scourge is Lee Sin's campaign. Thank you, Cardiac. Yeah, I think, especially after all the nerfs she's gotten, high A is pretty good for Samira. I was about to say B, but then I remembered 3-star, which is significant for her. Yes. Yes. All right, next up then we have Set. I'm actually fine. I've been playing him more and more, and I think low A is actually decent for him. I think you just have to get to 6 mana. You can get to 6 mana pretty consistently because you can ramp up faster because you have extra mana gems in your deck. You also have, or you can run the Scourge Stash. Or not. Starforge Gauntlets, sorry. So that's really good. And then once you get to 6 mana, you just steamroll everything. Like, you have board-wide scaling, you have built-in rallies, you can rally multiple times. I've put him lower before, but because I thought, like, oh, he was too slow. The more I've played him, I'm kind of thinking he's stronger than I really gave him credit for. I think low A is pretty good. Always bet on Set, definitely A. Okay, yeah, I think we'll put him in low A, especially considering, like, while this isn't a Lissandra tier list, we're considering all the content in the game, and he's really good for Lissandra, so that kind of helps him up. Are the S tiers in order? Not really, no. Like, it's like, somewhat, but not exactly. B, I get where you're coming from, but I think I'm gonna put him in bottom of A for now. I think that's pretty solid. Next up then we have Tahm Kench, and I think Tahm Kench is probably, he's B tier, I would say, but what are you guys thinking? High B or bottom B? High A except for Lissandra. I don't know if that's go that much. The thing is, he's amazing in the monthlies. Like, he shuts down so many difficult modifiers. Like, if you ever go up against Ezreal, you just laugh. Like, I think specifically a lot of people do not like Tahm Kench. Try him in the monthlies. There's so many modifiers and bosses that he, like, completely shuts down that you don't even have to try. They either won't attack you, or if they do, they only help you. So it's really good. Like, we're evaluating everything, and because he's so good in monthlies, that's why I'm kind of pushing him higher. Thank you, Leonis13, for the follow. Thought you already followed, or was that a different number? You have multiple accounts. And then like, it's not Jump, Monster. Interesting. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate the support. Tahm Kench is so fun in the monthlies. Note never followed before. Okay, then there was someone with a very similar name that was earlier, but thank you for the support. Main Eevee, also thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. Oh, it's 16, so yeah. Yeah, especially with my dyslexia, both of your names just seem like the same to me. It's just all those letters getting jumbled together. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I think Tahm Kench, he's solid all around. amazing in the monthlies. I definitely understand the argument to put him higher, but I think top of B is pretty good right now for Tahm Kench. He's so strong. Like, once you use him in the monthlies and use him into certain modifiers, like, there's been some that have been like, even the last 10 or like the most difficult challenges in the entire monthly, where it's like terrible for a lot of other champions, you just play Tahm Kench and he just laughs because it's suddenly so easy. Poro Vinny and Crudit? Let's go with that. Thank you for the follows. I appreciate the support. First time seeing someone with a similar nickname. Who excited for the new patch? It's going to be great. If it was only a monthlies list, I would put him in S. Yes, if this was just for monthlies, he'd be very high. I'm so biased, so I'll fight to keep him in high B. Yeah, I think high B is pretty decent for Tahm Kench. But let's move on then. So we have Taliyah. She's another one that specifically with Starforged gauntlets. So I understand if you don't have Starforged, but with them, she feels so much better. Starforged Taliyah is wonderful. So I would put Taliyah high B, and I think she's really good. So Taliyah right here. This is Starforged Gauntlet build when you have her maxed out. Very strong. Low A, interesting. Or B. Jay Whites. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that support. I've got my Thresh to 1-star today, and it's so disgusting. His deck at level 1 with 0 keywords that can't be used by his star powers. Yeah. So yeah, Taliyah, what are you guys thinking? I'm thinking with Starforged, high B is really good for her. I don't think she's quite A tier material, but yeah, pretty solid. Okay, most people can accept B. Okay, I'm glad we're in general mostly in agreement. Some people are saying A. We're just on Taliyah. Leona's all around a solid champion, so no, it's not just because of Oath. And honestly, the Oath build got nerfed, so now it's really not because of Oath. We did Leona earlier. And yeah, we have her in low A because she's all around a pretty solid, strong champion. But yeah, she recently got nerfed, or like Oath got nerfed. Otherwise, she might have been higher. I'd put Taliyah higher because you can never draw her and still do fine. Overwhelm plus 1/1 is the best general star powers. Yes, she is definitely a champion where she's not champ reliant, which is really good. Oath got nerfed specifically for Leona. So before, it would give you all of her Morning Lights in hand for every champion. It doesn't apparently do that anymore. So apparently, I haven't actually tested it, but from what I've heard, hopefully it's not fake news, that doesn't happen anymore. So it's just that one specific interaction with Oath. Kind of the same thing they did with Evelynn, how they nerfed her special interaction as well. What relics does Taliyah need? So what you want to do is get Starforged Gauntlets, you want to get Luminous Orb, and then the last one's kind of a flex pick. I like to go for Crown Guard Inheritance, so you can just play her as a rally, but you could go for like Blade Rack. That's also really good. Even Corrupted Star Fragment if you wanted. I think we'll leave Taliyah in B. I think that's generally where most people would agree. Although there's always some people want higher or lower. Teemo is up next. And I kind of feel like after all the nerfs, is Teemo like a B tier champion? Oh, a lot of people saying A. bottom of A is reasonable. Okay, right now, so I'm seeing a pretty wide reaction between top of A and B. So I'm thinking like bottom of A for like the middle ground. If Lux is B, Teemo is B. He can genuinely end game like Nora on first turn. Teemo is basically only good because he's so cheap. Yes, but he's still cheap, so it is good. Yeah, with Teemo, yeah, there are some crazy builds you can do for him. I think it was just the issue that my goodness words. My recent reactions with Teemo have been into Lissandra, where he like kind of sucks. So I think that's why I'm like leaning more towards negative. But I think for everything other than Lissandra, he is actually really good. So I think I'd be fine with like high A. He definitely used to be S tier, got hit really hard with a nerf bat. I think high A is probably pretty good with a lot of these others. He's not that slow. Like, he can be if you're going for just like a mushroom focus build, but you can have it where your Teemo like attacks 2 to 3 times in the first round and plants a bunch of shrooms. So I think high A is fine. Teemo with Oath is so strong, so other champs get the job done. That's true. Since he's so cheap, if you want, you can just drop Emo with double... not Emo. Teemo with double star gems, because he's a 1 cost. Yeah, Teemo, you can just go for scissors and then re-roll until you get an ephemeral copy. So yeah, I'll stick him in top of A. That's fine. Next up, we have Poro King, and where do we have Poro King? I feel like he's a minimum top of A tier. Like, the build I have for him is just ridiculous. Because you don't have to play the Poro King at all. You can just go ahead and throw on, like, Spirit of the Buru, Beast Within, even Nora's Relic if you want. A, but low. Interesting. So most people, yeah, A. A for sure, but I think high A. He is good, not so fancy, but pumps hella fluffy army. Yeah. Poro King is low A, high B in my opinion. I could be convinced to put him in lower A. That's the thing, like, he is Epic Relic reliant, because with Spirit of the Buru, he's amazing. Without Spirit of the Buru, he's a lot worse. Yeah, without the right relics, he's a lot worse. But if you actually go and you run this build, you activate his star powers immediately and your whole board just like scales like crazy because you just have so many keywords, extra stats. It's crazy. So yeah, I think personally I would put him more like top of A, but trying to go more with the consensus, trying to have this a tier list we do more together. So I'm fine with having him in the bottom of A tier, or not bottom, but like bottom half of A tier. He's definitely A tier champion though. So yeah, we'll put Poro King there. And let's see what's up next. Thresh. So Thresh is pretty solid now. Not crazy, but I think he could be low B tier. But our B tier is kind of stacked. Like, I think he's really good. It's just so many champions are a lot better. I feel like he's probably on a similar power level to like Miss Fortune, Gnar, and Pyke. I feel like he's probably around there. Yeah, keep him B. Top of B or A. The average champ is average, I guess. Yeah. So for Thresh, I really like running Succubus Brand and Disciple of Shadows, because what you do is Thresh can very easily get 3 units on his board, which gives you 3 cost reduction from your Disciple of Shadows. You play Thresh, he kills those 3 units, which gives you half of your level up. Since you have Succubus Brand, you make 3 husks from those 3 units you killed. As soon as you play one other unit, they all kill the husks, leveling up your Thresh. So you can level them up incredibly quickly, and then when you attack, you draw out a champion. So kind of the third relic, you either go for Corrupted Star Fragment, so you can get a lot of the extra stats and keywords onto your Thresh, or you go for Oath of the Guardians for focusing on the big champions you're getting. So it's very fun. But yeah, I'll put him in B tier. B tier is definitely stacked, but I guess that's the way it should be. Yeah, Thresh can get very big very quickly. Next up, though, we have Varus. I feel like Varus should at least be high B tier, if not A tier. Yeah, I feel like he should probably be at least in the A tier. You just have so much duplication. All right, most people are saying low A, which I think feels pretty good for Varus. Mid A. Yeah, let's put him there in the A tier. Next up, we have Vayne. I think Vayne is solid, especially with Epic Relics. I think she's pretty good. I think there's an argument to make her in the low A tier, but I think the top of B tier is a little bit more cozy for her. Nice. Sounds like a good run for Lissandra. I mean, I don't know how many of you here for Vayne when she launched, but she used to be like absolutely amazing, S tier champion, super strong. She's very similar to Samira, and she just got nerfed like patch after patch after patch. So it's been pretty sad. But I think, yeah, B tier. I always think these 3 Demacia champions are all very equal in terms of power. Yeah, I think we'll put her in B tier. I think that's pretty good. Next up is Veigar. This one's tough for me. I really like him, and I think he's really good. You also don't really need Epic Relics. You're pretty consistent, but I want to put him higher, but like Okay, most of you are saying A, which makes me happy, because I was like, I was thinking I was having to put him in the B tier, but I don't think he'd be top of A. Like, he can struggle with being too slow. You can get overwhelmed by enemies. Raze33, thank you for the subscribe. I appreciate the support. For monthlies and adventures, he's just total fun. Yeah, he's so much fun. He's good. I don't think we can put him in top of A, because you can get overwhelmed by some opponents. Now, you do have removal every single round. That is amazing. But some opponents, like if you're going up against someone with Tryndamere power and you just can't consistently get them off the board, I think you can struggle in some scenarios. If you find a shop that gives you darkness, he's so strong. Yeah. His master is Mordekaiser. So Vhagar was a Yordle that Mordekaiser like kidnapped and like tortured, and that like made him all evil and kind of screwed up. So yeah, his like master that he's referring to is Mordekaiser. Yes, now a lot of people are saying B. I think he's very much on the line, in my opinion, of like A and B. I definitely see the argument for both. I think we'll put him in the bottom of A for now, but I definitely understand people that are wanting him higher or lower. But I think since people are wanting him higher and wanting him lower, I think putting him in the middle is decent. Yeah, now he is a anti-villain because he especially hates Mord. That makes so much sense. Vhagar was already evil before Mordekaiser. Huh, okay. Yeah, I think Elise is a lot stronger than Mordekaiser. Alright, but let's move on. Well, not Mordekaiser, Vhagar. We have Vex, which sadly is not in the best spot right now. I think there are some builds that can help mitigate their weaknesses, but I think still overall they're pretty bad. Because this is one that I've dropped the triple epic relics into. I've tried some different builds. Now, I will say for Vex, I've been trying them mostly into Lissandra. Although that being said, I don't know how many of you were here for like the 2-hour Aurelion Sol run. That was a blast. Yeah, they're getting a constellation. I think we'll put them in D tier for now. I mean, I see the argument for C tier because you could say she's better than Nasus or Lee Sin. I could see that. Yeah, I get that, Rhett. The issue is, like, I'm not considering powers for, like, normal powers you have to get. Because if we're considering powers of, like, oh, if you just get this one power, they're really good. Like, if that's the case, we could just say Spectral Scissors on everyone plus Stabilize, and, like, oh, suddenly everyone's S tier. Pretty much. Like, we can't really consider, oh, they just need one power or just the other one. Because because while that might make them feel a lot better, and I definitely agree, that doesn't really work for try to construct a tier list. But I get where you're coming from, because yes, it's definitely good. Make it lore accurate and put her exactly below Gnar and keep her alone. I mean, we can put her in the corner. Yeah, we can put Vex in the corner. We need a scissors tier. All right, let's move on from Vex. So, oh, we're actually at the bottom row. So we have Vi. I think Vi is better than Nasus and Lee Sin, but like you could say put her in the C tier. But what are you thinking? All right, C, C, C. Okay, yeah, most people are saying C, which I'm fine with. You're saying Vi is better than Vex? I mean, most content Vi is actually not terrible. Yeah, like I'd say into Lissandra, yes, Vi is terrible. Well, pretty bad. But in most content, you can just throw on like a Gatebreaker on your Vi and just be fine. Like, while Vi is a very messy deck, doesn't have the best star powers, it is a very simple concept, and you can actually do solid with your Vi. It's like you're just dropping a big unit on the board. You can run Gatebreakers if you want to just nuke the Nexus. Yeah, Vi isn't terrible. Vi is more like F tier. Yeah, Vi's not the worst. And yeah, I'd say in general, Vi is better than Vex. I'd say Vex has more potential of like crazy builds if you get lucky. You get like awesome spells, you get some powers that really work for you. Vex can be good. It's just in general, they're pretty bad. So next up, then we have Volibear. I would say he's A tier. Definitely not S, not good enough, but I would say minimum low A tier. Yeah, definitely A. I don't know about high A. I mean, well, considering what we're up against. Yeah, we can put him in the top of A. Mid A. Yeah, he's a really good A tier champion. Definitely not S though. Oh yeah, 100% the best Freljordian champion. And he has great synergy with a whole bunch of different epics. Yeah, they're not necessarily in order. Like, especially some of the ones at the ends are ones that we plan on moving. So the top and bottom does matter, but the order that they're in isn't really 100% accurate. So don't get too hung up on that. I mean, the difference between C and D isn't that huge. Like, I could understand putting Vi as the top of D, but I also can understand putting her in the C tier. All right, so we're done. Volibear's there. So we have Yasuo up next. I normally wouldn't put Yasuo in the S tier. I would put him in the top of A tier. I think he is good, very consistent, strong, but he's not like broken like a lot of the S tier is. Yeah, honestly, we could put the C and D tier together. Like, this can be the same tier. I would say it used to be a lot worse. There used to be a lot more champions that were just like terrible, but we really could just like have this all here and then just for the memes have Vex in the corner. Yasuo's like Morgana number 2, yeah, but not as good. So Lux is better than Yasuo. Potentially, but we might move these down as well. Drop Gwen, Yasuo's new barrier. Vex and D for depression. I mean, Vex being in the corner down here is more for the memes. Yeah, I could see... Let's move some of these over. We could have, if we wanted to do it more like somewhat in order, Yasuo could be like the bottom of S tier. And that could work. Lux Luminate is better and more fun than Yasuo. I would definitely say it's more fun, definitely. I feel like Darius belongs to a spin to win friend. Possibly, yes. So some of these ones on the side we wanted to move around a little bit. I will say Riot has done a good job of reducing the power gap. A lot of the weakest champions have been improved. I will say they tried to improve Lee Sin a little bit and they didn't really do much. But especially like Ornn and Thresh both got improved massively. Nasus got a solid improvement. Nothing wasn't insane, but still solid. They did some tweaking for Kai'Sa. A lot of the lower level decks have actually been brought up. Do you know how the progression system for Constellation will work? Not exactly. They haven't given us any exact details, sadly. We don't know what like resources they take. We know there's new resources that work with constellations, but we don't know how that actually directly interacts. All right, so let's try to tweak this tier list. We've now kind of gone through and roughly listed everyone. Oh, actually, we still have Yuumi. Sorry, we have one left. And that is Yuumi. I feel like Yuumi needs to be probably at least bottom of A, if not higher. B for forgettable. No, I don't think... as far as I'm aware, I don't have early access to anything, sadly. Yuumi is decent. She's a solid champion. I get that she's kind of boring. She's not that exciting to play. It is a pretty lame playstyle. But she is strong. Yuumi is A. Gale Force plus Beast Within is scary. Yes. Yeah, Yumi definitely deserves A tier. I mean, I would love it if I did get early access. That'd be great. Spellweaver Yumi is great. Interesting. Well, I guess, yeah, triggering that Fade would be good. And then Targon does have a pretty solid group of cards to draw from. Queen of keeping Gale Force Abuse alive. Alright, so I think I'm fine with Darius staying at the top of B. I'm fine with Gnar also being in the bottom of B. Do we want... Yeah, I feel like Jack kind of deserves to be in this tier as well. I would say. And yeah, if we want to be accurate, Vex is not way worse than everyone else. It's more disappointing. If I really want to think about how Vex is, though, if you're using the best possible builds, I mean, if we're trying to order at least this one, I feel like Vex is actually probably still better than Kai'Sa. Probably. Vex, bottom of F tier. Just curious, how are we basing this on their best builds or like multiple builds? Pretty much their best builds. So everyone level 33 stars with whatever epic relics. Kai'Sa's a lot better with Focus Spell. That definitely helped. For all relevant content, Vex is all the way at the bottom. I mean, Vex is pretty bad for Lysandra, definitely. For the monthlies, I haven't really been able to test the monthlies out that much. Although, well, outside the monthly, she can be okay on Mortal Marks. I'm thinking what we should actually do, just to make this better. By the way, Toast, have you gone ahead and done some of the Lilian Guardian Orb runs? Yes, and it can actually be deadly because sometimes you'll give your Lilia like Reckoner's Mark, and when you go up against Lysandra, she'll actually end up killing herself, so that can have an issue. Vex for monthlies is okay. Problem is she competes with Vhagar. Everything I can think of. Yeah. My only Kai'Sa hate is the missile strikes at different times. They're all blocked by a single spell shield. Oh, yeah, that is rough. Because it counts as a single skill, but it's individual. Yeah, that is lame. So I think this is a roughly decent tier list, but I kind of want to try something of moving everyone down and then actually making the S tier. Like, just imagine if this is essentially a S+. So we actually break it up into the most broken of the most broken. And kind of see how things change. Because right now we're struggling to utilize all of our different tiers. Because the thing with tier lists is like, it's all just relative. So like for some of the gacha games, they have like S, S plus, S plus plus, and like S plus plus plus. And it's like, it's essentially your first S tier is then like a C tier or whatnot, because it's all relative to each other. All right, so Yasuo is definitely not a S plus champion. Aesol is. I would say Morgana is. Master Yi is not. I don't know if Diana would be. Yeah, I feel like Diana's good, but maybe not that good. Not anymore. I don't know if Lilia would be that way as well. Like, Nidalee definitely is. Morgana definitely is. You think Nora is still S, Lilia is still S. Lilia on the edge. I do feel like that's kind of the case. Yeah, that's a little bit closer. I feel like Lilia and Nora can still be S tier, but they're missing out a little bit. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Nidalee, it's not just Spectral Scissors. Like Spectral Scissors is amazing on Nidalee, but it's not like she wasn't good without them. She's always been amazing. Lux Illuminate is still good. I feel like for this new A tier, I feel like there's some of these champions we could put up here. Like, I feel like Elise and Jax could potentially be here. Maybe Nami as well. Annie also Jhin. I don't know. Gwen and Lux are under Jax. It kind of depends on the content a little bit. Nidalee's been good, so just let you face roll in a way that previously was more Jinx domain. Yeah, like Nidalee has always been incredibly strong. This is a Path of Champions tier list. I think I'd bump Taliyah up a bit just because of her amazing utility for hard mutators. Oh, Tom up a bit. I was thinking I said Taliyah. I was like, yeah. Yeah, Tom Kench, it's somewhat, this is kind of the issue when you're ranking the tier list for like everything, because it just depends on like how much you want to value different parts of the game. Tom Kench is one of the best champions to have in monthly challenges because he's so good into so many modifiers. There's so many modifiers and champions he just works perfectly for, and hard counters. So depending on how you personally rate the monthlies, Tom Kench can be a lot higher for you. Just one more minute, you'll be streaming my favorite number. I think you need to define what each tier is a bit better. So we're trying to have it so like S is pretty much what you'd really think of like an S plus of just absolutely incredible. They are going to dominate and destroy everything. Like, it doesn't matter what you bring them into, they are going to annihilate it. That's pretty much what the S tier is. Hello there, just got in a shop time trick with the Voidling Shell. While in hand, getting a random keyword. Bought it because what's it supposed to mean? Now I have time trick with no items. Is this a known bug? Yes. So right now that item can show up on spells. It's not supposed to. It doesn't do anything for spells. And yes, that's been known issue. That's, yeah, people know about that. So the reason some of these champions aren't up in the S tier, like Evelynn, is Evelynn is a little bit too inconsistent. If you don't draw her, you'll normally end up losing very quickly. And while you might say that's the same for like some other champions, like maybe Nidalee, the problem is with Evelynn, your units are going to die. The more your units die, the less you can level up. And so it's not like, oh, I can just draw her later and then be fine. You really struggle to come back because your units are dying and then you just aren't having as many level ups. So Eve, while she is very strong, has some pretty large weaknesses, and you can just have bad luck and get shut down pretty easily, which is sad. But most of the time, yeah, you're absolutely able to destroy with her. We are including Lissandra, but this isn't like a Lissandra only tier list. S, I win. A, overpowered. B, amazing. C, good. D, underpowered. In general, yeah, that's the general ranking for them. Yeah, for a lot of the rows, I haven't really organized them as far as like highest to lowest. Can you make Vex hold her social distancing between Vi and Kai'Sa? Sure, we can spread them out a little bit more. S, the most broken champions in the game, they obliterate. A, solid champions can easily win any content. B, good champions can clear content relatively easily. C, mediocre champion needs some luck to win hard content. D, bad champions needs a bit of luck to win hard content. Yeah, and I generally wouldn't say too many champions are like bad. I would kind of lean towards that for Lee Sin and a little bit for Nasus of like, I probably wouldn't say the overall champion is bad, but they definitely have some bad elements that punish you pretty hard. I think this is a little bit better. Now we're utilizing pretty much the entire tier list. Like, yeah, it's messy. I need to actually organize them a bit more if I wanted to like make it all look perfect. But trying to split up the S tier and have it more just be like what a lot of people would maybe do for S plus, of being like, this is just the most broken champions in the game. And a lot of the other champions in the A tier, yeah, they're ones that normally, or at least used to be considered S tier, but they've been just like power crept down a little bit. Because with a lot of the other tier lists that I've done, there's normally been a pretty big gap in strength in the S tier. And so trying to list it out a little bit more like this helps a lot more. They have some glaring design flaws. The people in the D tier, yes. Yeah, people in the S tier have no real weaknesses, incredibly strong. People in the A tier, you're going to have some weaknesses, but in general, you're normally able to dominate anything. People in the B tier are very solid, might struggle here and there, depending on the content. C is overall good, but are very much, you need to play them in the right situations, but still good champions overall. And then D is like pretty situational on when you actually want to use them, or they have some pretty major issues. By the way, what's the best rare relic build for Nami? Rare relic build would probably go for Deceiver's Crest can be really good, but so can Grand General's Counterplan. It depends on how aggro you're trying to be. If you want to put more pressure on early, you can go for Deceiver's Crest, because you can normally level her up around 1. But if you think the game's going to go on a little bit longer, then Grand General's Counterplan is probably better. Warning shots to be able to fire off those zero-cost spells that are burst speed, really solid, especially if you're going for more of an aggro playstyle. You can go for like not the Beast Within, the Troll King's Crown for Overwhelm, also really good. And especially while you're leveling, Chemtech Duplicator is very good. Normally, though, you're actually able to end games before it activates, so it's something that's like, it's a crutch you can kind of use early, but then as you get your Nami higher, normally you want to take it off just because you're ending games before it ever activates. Except Jinx with Lissandra as far as weaknesses, yes. That being said, even with Jinx, you can still clear Lissandra. It's like if they roll not unyielding, I'm inevitable, it's tough, but you actually can still beat those. Like when I did my Jinx run, I got a couple different times where they had I am inevitable and it was a pain, but you were, if you played smart, you were still able to get around it. I think Vayne should be high B with Chosen Spellweavers. That is difficult. That's one of the only relics I haven't been able to test, so it's hard for me to really know, but you definitely could be right. Morgana has Ezreal still S tier. Yes, and even with Ezreal, while it sucks, you can still win with Morgana, because you do have hard CC built into your kit. You still have a lot of damage, and yeah, it's one of your worst encounters, but you can still win reliably. It just takes even longer and is more of a hassle, but you can still do it. All right, I think this is overall pretty good. And a lot of this is about to change. The new patch is coming out in 2 days, and like 20 of these champions are being buffed and changed. So a lot's going to happen in the next couple days. I think this is a pretty good evaluation of where characters roughly are in the game currently. Now, so many random caveats of like, depending on your personal skill, depending on what levels you have and everything, but generally, all the champions at max level with their best builds, this is the rough layout for where people are. Yeah, like there's no two tier lists. Like no one is ever going to agree 100, and even there's some in here where I don't necessarily 100% agree on them, and like I would shift them, but it's trying to be the consensus from myself and the like hundreds of people that have contributed while watching this. So pretty good or pretty rough estimate for where the community considers a lot of these champions. Hey, I just joined. Why is Varus in B? So one thing that we did is the tier list was getting too top heavy. There was too many people in the higher part. And so we kind of just split our S tier into two. So like this is, the S tier is more what most people consider like S plus, and kind of just moved a lot of stuff down. So just because your champion might be slightly lower than normal, it's all in relation to each other, and just a lot of the champions themselves have been better. I mean, yeah, but again, it's all relative, because we could call this S plus and then S and then like go all the way down the line. But again, tier lists, they're pretty much all just relative to each other, so it doesn't really matter. Because even people in the D, like, everyone in the game is playable. There's none of these champions like, oh, you should never play these. Honestly, Lee Sin is normally one of my most played in the monthly challenges. Like, it's... everyone is fine. Alright, so that is pretty good, I think. Let's leave that there. And let's maybe actually go over and take a look at... where'd it go? It didn't want to show up there. Let's try this one. There we go. Okay. So this is what they did, what they put out on their Twitter, giving you all of the champions coming out. So we have Viego up first, because he's the new champion being added. And then all of the other constellations are all the champions that are getting changed. So right here we have Yuumi. Right here. Right here we have Talia riding on her stone. Right here is Vex with Shadow. Gwen with the scissors. This one is most likely Jhin. This one is Morgana. Oh, there's no mouse. I had to click on it. Sorry. So Viego, Morgana, Yuumi, Talia. This one is probably Jhin. This one's a little bit less clear to me, but should be Jhin. Gwen, Vex plus Shadow. This whole thing together is Aatrox. Like, this is his shoulder, this is his hand. Because some people were just like cutting off this part and thinking they were separate, but this whole thing should be Aatrox. Right here, Darius with his axe. We have Jinx, Kai'Sa, Aurelion Sol. Aurelion Sol's not actually... I'm kind of conflicted about. It's like, is Aatrox just looking over these because they're all constellations and he's actually going to get a constellation on his own? Or is it just here for aesthetic effect? Because obviously he looks very different than everyone else. So I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I didn't think Aesol was getting a constellation. That's why when people were like pointing him out, I'm like, yes, that is him. But I think that's just because these are constellations and he's the Star Forger. I don't think it's him getting it. Anyways, here we have Lux illuminated. You can see her staff, the Seraph's Embrace. Ashe. This one is Volibear. You can see his like back spikes. Misfortune, her hat. This one is probably Samira. Should be. Lilia with her staff. We have Nico. This one is Nora. And then I forget who this is supposed to be. Who is that one supposed to be? It's not revealed. Oh, it's revealed. It's Echo. Oh, they revealed some of them? Okay, Echo. Also, that does not look like Samira from the back. Like, I know it's supposed to be, but... when did they post this on Twitter? Interesting. So he's on his arm. Interesting. So Echo with constellations will be pretty interesting. Yeah, Nor was confirmed in the dev talk. I mean, it looks too white to be Samira. Thought Samira was a little bit darker, and like from the side profile, it looks off. But that is Samira's sword. It's the red bandage. It's Samira's tattoos, the same hair. So like it is. It just looks a little off. But yeah, Echo, I think Echo's been one that's always like he's good, and like when things go right, he's really, really good. And I think him getting Constellation will be awesome. Granted, I'm the most hyped for Volibear. Like, Volibear with Constellation is going to be so much fun. Are you going to have a... Are they going to do a hard reset for this? Or is this like an addition to what we currently have? This is an addition. Yeah, Echo is like on Volibear's arm. Like, he's literally resting on it. The hair is really throwing me off for Samira. Yes, like she has that thick braid, but normally it's like down her front, and so it just it's a weird angle for Samira that we never really see. I mean, everyone now is going to start with 4 mana gems, or well, Volibear definitely with the Starforged. Yeah, it's definitely a very good picture. The Nora one was very hard to guess because you're like, what is the thing going on with her hand? So yeah, this should be pretty good. Again, I said it at the beginning of the stream, but probably a lot of you weren't here. I have a appointment tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to stream tomorrow, sadly. I will be streaming on Wednesday. The stream is going to start a little bit later. So it's probably going to start like 2 hours later than normal. During that stream, before the patch comes out, we'll break down all of the patch notes, have a nice long talk about that, and then when the patch goes live, we're just going to stream and test and play everything. So that should be a lot of fun. So look forward to that. By the way, will you still run Starforge build with Talia? I mean, who knows? All of this, I'm not wanting to make a lot of guesses based on what people, how good they will or won't be. I'm just going to be like, we'll see once we actually get it revealed. So the weird shark fin was just Ash's cape. Oh, yeah. All right, so that'll be it for the stream. I think overall it's a pretty solid tier list. It'll be fun to see how things change in the next patch because it's going to be massive changes all around. See how things shake up. Yeah, constellations are going to be wild. Honestly, we're probably going to have to do 2 different tier lists for like constellations and non-constellation people. We'll have to see. But anyways, thank you all for hanging out with me. I hope you all have a great day and look forward to playing the next patch alongside all of you. All right, see ya.